Are you tired of the same old sports media? Are you tired of hot takes, arguments, and questions that are just completely off base?
Luckily, we have something for you. Touchdowns and tangents of the people, for the people, by people who care about the culture and all its concise commentary.
Yeah. What's good, everyone? Woo! Touchdowns and Tangents, live from the Good News radio station. Thursday night spot for NFL takes, topical tangents. As usual, we're running a little bit late, but no worries. We got a jam-packed show full of tangents, full of news. So make sure you tune in. As always, I'm Pete D. Camarillo.
I'm Kenneth Frank James Barry, a.k.a. MC What the F, a.k.a. Daddy Do Dirty.
But yeah, man, on that note, hopefully our first guest is going to call in right now.
Shout out to, I'm so full, I forgot the Masters Burgers off Adams and Crenshaw. Shout out to Masters Burgers. They made a burger that defeated me. I'm not gonna lie. There's very few good burgers that I get that like I don't finish.
Honestly, I haven't had a burger that good in so long. Like just a homemade burger with actual flavor that wasn't burnt.
Purposely charbroiled. It didn't even have ketchup on it, bro. It had no mustard, nothing. Just onions and like a little bit of mayo.
And on that note, we got our first caller. Good evening, caller. This is Touchdowns and Tangents. Give us your name and location. Hello, can you hear us?
Oh, I heard something.
Hello?
I heard him say hello for like 1 second.
Lyle? Let's see. Hello, can you hear us? I can hear him. I heard him say hello.
Yeah. Hello?
Not this again.
This hasn't happened in a while.
No, this really hasn't.
Like a long time, so it's probably someone, he probably just didn't hear us. And if you have your headphones in and you call, it's also kind of hard to hear that too.
Test, can you hear us?
No, that's 11.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, now we can hear you.
Totally.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
All right, so Lyle, welcome to Touchdowns and Tangents. For those of you who don't know, Lyle hosts a podcast called After the Gridiron, which is basically a show that interviews football players after their careers. So Lyle, first of all, man, I just wanted to ask you, where did this whole idea come from, and like, how did you get started? What? How come I could? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. How come I can only hear him when I have the echo on?
You're not supposed to hear him when the echo's on, so you turn it down.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, we didn't hear anything you said.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, good.
So go ahead. Tell us how you got your podcast started and where the idea came from.
Yeah, just kind of out of curiosity and wanting to know what other guys were doing after retirement and how they handled the transition to life after football. And yeah, I know it can be a difficult thing for guys, so I just wanted to get an idea of what guys are doing in the NFL and also CFL where I played, and kind of talk to them and chat with them about life after football for them.
And so far, I know you've interviewed, various levels of guys, everyone from, CFL players to Larry Johnson. And so, who's been your favorite interview so far, like just to talk to?
Oh, that's tough. It's like kind of like asking who's your favorite child. But hey, I've had a lot of great interviews. I loved Larry Johnson was pretty interesting. Thomas Jones was a good one. Getting to know Robert Mathis was nice as well. So been quite a few good ones for the NFL guys, and also some CFL guys. Some guys I played with, like Randy Chevrier. He had a great interview talking about how he made the Dallas Cowboys snap off in the locker room, and other great stories like that. So yeah, it's been a lot of great interviews.
So as far as
this is my co-host Kenny, by the way.
Yeah. So as far as the type of, obviously you've covered the whole spectrum. Can you hear me? Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
There's echo. Sorry. So as far as the type of athletes you've covered and when you necessarily cover them, like, what's the most impactful interview you've had from an athlete that probably you weren't expecting?
Something I wasn't expecting. That's a good question. Well, one of the kind of impactful ones, I guess, would be Anthony Trucks. I mean, I kind of knew his story, his background, so can't say I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, just hearing his story and the things he's gone through and the life he's had to endure and the tough childhood and stuff, and how he's overcome that and turned his life around and is doing some amazing things right now. So that was a great interview to have.
And so when you see this trend of like players retiring earlier, do you think that's something that's going to continue going on, or do you think because of health advancements, people are going to continue to play into their 40s, like say Tom Brady?
I think it'll be a mix. I think there will be more guys that will retire early with all the information there is out there right now in terms of health and stuff like that. Some guys will kind of shy away from wanting to play too long, but I think there'll also be more guys like Tom Brady and Drew Brees who are playing into their 40s, and guys who are extending their careers and playing even longer. So I think there'll be more guys like that as well who can play even longer than the normal career span for football players.
And just based off of your experience, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Sorry. I don't know why we're having so many difficulties. So sorry about all this. This isn't the usual thing. But yeah, so, based off of all your experience interviewing all these players, what sort of advice do you give, or would you give to players who are currently playing professionally?
Professionally, I would say, you mean in terms of what to do after football?
Exactly, in terms of preparing for that next life stage.
Yeah, I would say try and find something that you're passionate about. That's kind of a main theme that I've kind of discovered through most of the guys, that they end up doing something that they love as much as or equal to football, and kind of fill that void of football, and find something that they love as much and are passionate about and love doing. Because some guys, they start off doing other things and end up switching or moving to something else, because it's hard to, once you do something you love, it's hard to do something you don't love. So most guys end up finding something else that they love as well and they're also passionate about.
And as far as like other people kind of in the same vein who are also interviewing athletes, like what, let's say post-career, what are some suggestions, what are some things that you've learned just like on the way that you've kind of used to tweak your approach?
Try that again. I don't think he got it.
Okay.
No, I didn't hear you guys.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. It's like we have to hit this button when you talk, and then when we talk, it's a mess. So sorry again.
Sorry, that happened.
So,
I know it happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of teachable moments, so as far as like your process and how far you've come in interviewing all these athletes, what are some things that you learned along the way with like your style or just preparing for the interview? Like, what are some things that you've kind of looked back on and tweaked?
In terms of on the podcast side of things?
Yeah, in terms of just being an interview, how have you gotten better, and would you advise someone who wants to interview athletes after their career?
Yeah, just practice. It's just like in sports and football. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So the more interviews you have, the more practice you get. And listening to other podcasters as well. I like listening to other podcasts. I like First Take. I like listening to them. I love listening to the Rich Eisen show and guys like that. And learning from them and learning from other podcasts and hearing guys. And I've heard a couple of your guys' podcasts. So yeah, just hearing other podcasts and getting information from other people and practicing, just doing more and getting comfortable with the mic. I mean, I didn't have a background in podcasting. I didn't have any broadcasting experience. So my first few interviews are a little funny, a little shaky maybe, but yeah, definitely don't want to back listen to those. But yeah, you get better as you go along and you improve and you get more comfortable with interviewing guys and what questions to ask and what questions not to ask.
So what are your feelings towards, high profile football players that, easily, I guess, transition to broadcasting or, kind of have that path laid out for them?
What do I think of that?
Yeah, like, do you think that's a good thing or do you think it's a bad thing because, let people like you have to work harder to try to break through?
No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I mean, you take advantage of the opportunities that you have. If you have a chance to, to get a great job and great position in broadcasting, you take advantage of it. I mean, I can't fault some guy for doing that. Just like in sports, if a guy is good enough to make a huge contract, you can't be upset about it. So, yeah, once you have an opportunity, you take advantage of your opportunity. And a lot of guys go into broadcasting. It's obviously a great way to stay involved in the sport, and a lot of guys love to do that. So for guys that are able to do that, it's great. I all the power to them to go and do that and to move into that aspect of their lives. But yeah, I don't have any hard feelings for guys that get those opportunities and are given those opportunities. But yeah, if you have to work harder, that's just the way things are. That's how life goes sometimes. Sometimes you have to work harder than other guys to get to where you want to get to. So.
Yeah, we're right there along with you, so we get it too.
Yeah.
And one last question for me. So as far as where you want to take this and where you want to go to interviews, and what do you see what's next for what you're doing?
I don't know, just trying to keep it going, trying to grow it and get the audience up and get more guys to be able to share their story and to share what they're doing.
Who's your dream interview?
Dream interview? Oh, I'm a huge Cowboys fan, so Emmett Smith would be an awesome interview for me. So
okay,
Emmett, if you're listening out there, yeah, that'd be the one I'd want to get for sure.
I think he'd be good too because he doesn't talk a lot. Like there's not a lot of stuff out on him, so that would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
And my last question for you is, since you've interviewed them both, is it Larry Johnson or Thomas Jones? Who's better? Who had a better career?
Better career?
Yeah.
Career-wise, you probably have to say Thomas Jones. He had the more yards, and maybe Larry might have had the higher peak in terms of season. But overall career, I'd definitely say Thomas Jones. He had the more yards for sure.
Yeah.
One of only 31 who have gotten 10,000 career rushing yards. So if I had to pick, I'd have to say Thomas Jones.
All right, cool. So before we let you go, you want to go ahead and plug your social channels and where people can find your podcast and connect with you?
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that. Yeah, so if you want to listen to the podcast, you can find the website. It's www.atgridiron, the letter A, letter T, and then gridiron.com. And all the links to the social media you can find those on the website, but you can also check out my Instagram. It's at atgridiron, or Twitter and Facebook, the same thing, atgridiron. And you can find all the information there and all my episodes and stuff I post. And yeah, if you want to get information on who's coming up and stuff like that, you can sign up to the newsletter on my website, and you can get information on upcoming guests and stuff like that. So yeah, hope you guys can listen in. And yeah, it's a great interview. It's a great podcast with some cool stories, like I mentioned some earlier. But yeah, I think it's a great podcast, and definitely sure people enjoy it.